Hi, I'm Morgan Bates, and I did my project on McCann versus Ogle County. So I'm going to start off with some case reasoning and why it fits the parameters of the project. So this case first took place in the Northern District of Illinois, where it was argued in the District Court before being moved to Illinois' 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. It fits the time parameters because it was argued in September of 2018 and then decided in November of 2018. There were different health injustices that occurred throughout the case, and we will talk about those in a later slide. And it's relevant to healthcare administration because hospital policies on treating people who have been arrested or waiting a trial, and hospital correspondence when transferring patients to another facility and what gets transferred with them. So I'm going to start off with some facts of the case. So on March 30th, 2010, Patrick McCann assaulted and threatened to kill his mother, and then proceeded to set her home on fire. And when he set the home on fire, he suffered burn injuries, and he was being treated at the hospital for 3 weeks before being transferred into police custody. After being transferred into police custody, he was then sent to the Ogle County Correctional Center, where Dr. Stephen Cullen was responsible for his care. He was the physician responsible for all inmate care, and then there was a practical nurse responsible on McCann's case. So, after Dr. Cullen examined McCann for the first time, finding everything was normal, he changed the prescription that was sent over with McCann to 60 milligrams of methadone twice per day, which was recognized as much too high of a dose. So he changed it to methadone because methadone is used for pain in patients who have very bad burns or experiencing high doses of pain because it has a slower effect than morphine does. So on April 30th, the nurse noted that McCann looked tired, but didn't complete a vital check on him that morning. After reporting back to Dr. Cullen, he lowered the dosage to 40 milligrams of methadone twice per day, and then checked on him another 4 times that morning, reporting he was asleep and didn't do any vital checks within that time frame. Later that same day, McCann was actually found dead in his cell, and after an autopsy, the cause of death was an overprescription of methadone. So the McCann estate brought charges under 42 USC 1983, claiming that there were deliberate indifferences against the nurse, the primary care doctor, Dr. Cullen, Ogle County Correctional, and a host of other officers in the county. And so the treating physician and the private employer first settled, and the district court entered a summary judgment for the remaining defendants. After being moved to the Court of Appeals, there was a different holding. So the court held a motion for summary judgment for all defendants, setting to objective reasonableness standards when providing medical care to a pretrial detainee. So the difference between standard of indifference and objective reasonableness is standard of indifference is seeing whether the inmate's civil rights were violated, while the objective reasonableness shows that individuals didn't act indifferent at all. And the evidence actually that was brought in the case showed that the municipal liability was none against the Ogle County Correctional Facility, and so the evidence didn't show that any individual acted with deliberate indifference when treating McCann as a detainee. So some legal basis that was mentioned in the case. So standard of indifference actually comes from Framer versus Brennan in 1994, and under this, it was found that the nurse acted with no indifference toward McCann when treating him, based on other people that she would have been treated for the same burns. And Miranda versus County of Lake, 7th Circuit in 2018, was when the standard of objective reasonableness replaced the standard of indifference when providing medical care to a pretrial detainee. So some health injustices that occurred. So when McCann was released into police custody, many noted that it was surprisingly early, as he was still being treated in the hospital for his burns, and he was still needing to be checked on multiple times per day. McCann was also not checked on continuously in the prison like he would have been in the hospital setting. So I think there should have been some lawsuit brought against the hospital for releasing him this early. So personally, I think this case was wrongfully decided as the prison doctor changed the prescription to a dose considered much too high of methadone, and as a doctor he should have known that it was too high. Therefore, there should have been more checks. He should have been woken up. And then I also did some more research on continuation of care. And so in the American Board Association Treatment of Prisoners, Section 5, Standard 23-6.5, it states that they are to ensure each prisoner's continuity of care, including with respect to medication upon entry to the correctional system. Therefore, medication shouldn't have been changed. There should have been a continuation of what he was prescribed at the hospital. And then the hospital did release the patient surprisingly early, so I do think that the hospital needed to be held responsible for that, whether that was through a case or a civil lawsuit. But I think there should have been something in there because he was released early and he still needed the care that he was receiving at the hospital. And then these are just my references stating the case and the American Bar Association that I noted. Thank you.